keep on pushing. I'm Superman. Just to work power I was given. Just burning. Power I was given. Just I don't think you know who I am. I'm the modern day Superman on my way.
So, I played you that because I just kind of wanted to explain that making music for me has been this insane, beautiful journey to find myself. So, since the very beginning of my life, I guess, my dad was a musician. He's a drummer. He was a drummer in bands. He's also managed bands. He's been in the music industry in one way or another. His whole life, whether it was working for radio stations, being a radio DJ, and he still does it to this day, running a bunch of online radio stations and things, right? So I've been around music my whole life. My dad owned a computer store when I was a kid, or worked for one, or some shit, then worked for a satellite disc company and whatever, and being around all this technology as a child, every time I was seeing my dad, it was this thing. Because my dad wasn't like in my life, he wasn't in the household necessarily. So sometimes there'd be 2 weeks to 3 weeks to a month where I wouldn't see him, and then then I would see him, and then eventually I got to see him every other weekend, and but every time I seen my dad, he was always doing music. He was always doing something with music or something with his dreams in that way, which then influenced me. So it's this weird thing where if life didn't turn out the way it did, I wouldn't be the man I am, and I wouldn't be as good at what I'm doing, because I was given Fruity Loops. I don't know which Fruity Loops it was, Fruity Loops 6 or 7. Um, I don't know, but when I was 12, and I didn't know what the fuck to do with it. My dad gave me the program. He didn't know what to do with it. So then I just had it sit on my computer, and I used Cool Edit Pro. Cool Edit Pro was I would just download beats from SoundClick back then, and like free downloadable beats, and rap on them, and I would just rap on them, and I would master my voice. I taught myself how to master with Cool Edit Pro. The frequencies, using a 30-band frequency equalizer, compression, adding a little flanger, adding a little this. I started doing my own thing and finding my own way, and and this is what started me creating my own thing, because I've always been what other people would call poor. So like in the beginning, I was using just the cracked version of Fruity Loops. In the beginning, I'm using the cracked version of Cool Edit Pro, because I was, I didn't have much money to spend. My family didn't have much money to spend. And my dad was really knowledgeable when it came to computers and came to things like that, and he knew a lot of people that were knowledgeable. So it was just this weird thing, right? So now, years later, from 11 until I was like 22, I rapped and sung. So, I mean, I sing, but kinda. I don't really sing. I just sing like me. I don't sing like anybody else. I don't want to sound like anybody else. And it's that thing that I don't want my music to whatever. I've never really made music to impress people or anything. Music has always been my therapist. It's the reason why I don't need therapy. It's the reason why I'm happy. It's the reason why when I'm sad, I know what to do. I make music. That's what I've always done since I was a child. When I'm sad, I made music. I would either write a song, rap it, record it, master it, listen to it, and then, jam out to my own shit. Or, for a while, there was people in my hometown jamming out to all my shit. I don't know, me and my dude Dell, we had this like rap group, and there was just this one time where he was like, he came to me and he was like, bro, we made it. We made it. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? He was like, yo, bro, I heard our song being played in somebody's car. And so somebody was just driving their car and, you know, they were playing our shit. And that was the first realization for me and him, I guess, that this shit is real. So then, fast forward, I get locked up for like armed robbery. I did an armed robbery at a store when I was 14. I get sent away for that. I did nothing but write songs while I was in there. Came out with binders full of like composition notebook type things full of songs, and got out and recorded all those songs. Made like, I don't know, 4 mixtapes, 5 mixtapes. And then after those songs were recorded, I got better. Because in my opinion, all of those mixtapes are garbage. It's all trash. Whoever the fuck said this shit is real. I don't remember who said it. It's not my quote. But somebody said, your first 10,000 photographs are your worst. And that means that all of my first songs are garbage. I've made probably 500 to 800 songs. Like, whether they were my songs, I hopped on other people's songs, I've recorded many people's songs. I used to have a studio where, like, my first hustle, quote unquote, you can say, is the studio. So I had a home studio, and I would record people's music, and I would charge $40 to record their songs, $20 to master. And that's, you know, sometimes I would have 15 people in the studio a day. And sometimes they come as a group and pay as a group. And, you know, I did this thing where it's like, well, you got $70 a day type thing, where if you pay me $70, you can chill for the whole day. And because I was young and dumb, sometimes I'd let them, you know, just pay me in weed in a sense and pay me in whatever. So it was this weird thing where my studio became this spot. And me working on all of those songs perfected my craft. Like, it's the reason why when I make songs, I tweak the frequencies, and I'll show you in a second what I mean by tweak the frequencies, because I don't think a lot of people understand. Now, some instruments I don't need to tweak the frequencies. Some instruments I just leave the way they are, and I maybe just add a compression, maybe pan it, where it's like you can pan an instrument, go from the right side of the headphones to the left side to the right side. There's just so much you can do with Fruity Loops and with making music, and Fruity Loops is this program that I use. But what I mean by tweaking the frequencies is, I'll just show you one basic graph so it's not complicated. I'm not giving out too much secrets type shit. Because this is why people don't tell you this shit, because they don't want to give away their secrets. But this is just an instrument where I tweak the graph in a sense. This is the frequencies of the instrument, and I removed some of the bass, I removed some of the high, I removed some of that, and I peaked it right there. Now that is on every single thing is on a certain frequency. And now I could go more detailed and show you more detailed, but I don't want to, give out too much shit. But it's that thing that. The reason why a lot of people don't give away their shit is because they don't want you to know their secrets. But the secret is that even if I tell you all my secrets, you couldn't do what I do, because over the years of me training my ears, that shit is real. That there was an old producer that it was a music teacher I had who he taught music production in high school. There was this special classes in high school where you could take a special class, and I took music production. So he was explaining how there was this producer he knew that could close his eyes and you could play a frequency and he can tell you in what ballpark that frequency was. Now I can do the same thing after years and years and years of practice. I can literally, okay, see this graph. If I can make a beat just by this graph right here is a 30-band frequency equalizer, and I can make a beat with this just because if you turn the volume down and you play the instrument, right, if you mute the volume, play the song, oh shit, play the song, see, you can see the frequencies. You can see which ones are playing. You can see that I only cut a very little bit of that, and it's like, but you can see the frequencies. So if you know how to read the frequencies, you can make a song literally without even hearing the sound. And this is something I've trained myself to do. It is very, very, very unorthodox, or very not traditional, or not whatever. This is my own theory here, that if worst case things ever happened to me and I ever went deaf, I now know how to make a song still, as long as I put every instrument in an EQ and I can see what frequencies are playing in the instruments. Then I can be able to pick what sounds I want based on the instruments that I know, that I have heard already, and how, bass, if I want bass, you turn up the 60 hertz, and you turn up the sub. If you want like bass, you turn it up in like the 200-300 range, like even 100 range. Like, it's just this thing, and I can go on and on and on about these frequencies, but these are the things that I've learned, and it's that has helped me be able to master my craft. Now, I've learned this over 15 years of working with music. At first I was mastering human voices. So like, I realized that when you master a human voice, you can't, I eventually made a master preset equalizer for my voice, where it was easy. But then when I tried attempting to add that same preset to other people's voices, it just fucked it up, because some people have more bass in their voice, some people have more whatever. And when you record a voice into a computer, it digitalizes. In a sense, you have to bring the frequencies back in it that it's missing, and add more ambience, and maybe add some reverb, and add some compression, and add some whatever, because even through this, you're losing my actual voice. Because an actual voice, I can feel vibrate when I talk, and it's this thing that microphones are getting so good now that they already add compression, they already add these things to the thing, but it's just this, all of this shit that I've learned, this is my life. It's not just shamanism or psychedelics or whatever. Music is my life, is my first tattoo. I got it when I was 16, it's on my arm right here, and that shit is so real, that it's because ever since I was like 11, I started writing songs. 12, I started recording my own songs, learning the programs, and then from 12 until now, 27, I now know how to do what I at least wanted to always do. I can't do everything people do with this program, and my secret is all I have is this program, and right now I don't have a keyboard, so like, I have the on-screen keyboard, okay, and I have a mouse, and that's what I use, in a sense. And people say you can't make music without whatever, and you need all this extra shit and whatever, but really all you need is hard work, dedication, and talent. Because talent is real. That if you're not musically talented, it's just in my blood. My dad makes music. He's been in the music industry. He does his thing. And it's just, I feel like, in my blood to do this. So, like, I don't know music theory. I don't know anything, but I know what sounds good. It's that I have the ability to, let me pull up a different beat. But I have the ability now, I didn't in the beginning, but now, you know how, like, people know how to, once you know music theory, you can play, like, 6 notes at the same time, or 3 notes at the same time, and boom, boom, and whatever, right? And it's, over the years, I haven't learned music theory. I learned what frequencies sound good together and what frequencies cancel each other. And the frequencies that cancel each other out, that's not good. You don't want, unless you purposely want the wah, 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 I don't know how to explain it, because when a frequency cancels out, you can read the frequencies, and one will be like up and one will be down, and it causes an issue. So black notes play with black notes, white notes play with white notes. Now sometimes a black note can play with a white note if it sounds correct, but there's now like I said, I've trained my ears where I don't want to give too much away with my pattern here, but I can show you that how I've played multiple instruments and multiple patterns at the same time and multiple things at the same time. And I've learned this, and some people would only be able to do that if they knew music theory, but it's all about learning and training your ears to be able to hear what sounds good to you. Because there's so many people that want to make I hear like people who use Fruity Loops, I hear beat makers be like, I want to make an ambient piano beat, or I want to make a drill beat, or I want to make a trap beat, or I want to make a whatever. They try to classify everything, and it's this label shit where I want my music to be so me that you can't even label it. You don't even know what to call it. And it's that thing that when I dropped a beat in this Fruity Loops group today, this one dude was like, yo, what's this? When is it going to drop? And I was like, I don't make rap beats necessarily. It's more of a beat to sit down and vibe to. Honestly, I mean, I didn't want to necessarily tell him like, yo, it's a beat where I trip balls to, but it's that thing that I make psychedelic music because I'm a psychedelic type of person, and I'm just expressing myself, my feelings, my vibe that I feel, the flows that are in my head. I have melodies in my head all damn day, and that's why this song came out after a DMT trip I had. I smoked a little bit of DMT out of my little grandpa pipe here, and then I came up with like this just this whole vibe, and then when it drops, it's like I had this whole DMT like I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes when I smoke DMT, they're like, I don't know, the vibe in that fucking world. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, really, music is my true passion. Philosophy is the thing that, so when I turned 20, I smoked DMT for the first time. And after that, I had to grow up. I had to learn. I had to get educated. I had to get what other people would call woke, but I would just call, I needed knowledge. Because if I didn't have knowledge, I would have just made dumb rap music. I would have just been that typical whatever that I was becoming, because I'm great at rapping, I'm great at what I'm doing, I know that, but that's only because I put years into it, and I don't have the intention to, I'm not chasing fame anymore. I'm chasing myself, just like I was with psychedelics. I'm not chasing drugs, I'm chasing myself. I'm trying to find who I actually am and do what I actually love and express myself. So when I make music, it's no different than when I make videos. The main difference is I think making music to me is a little more fun, a little more euphoric, and it's maybe because it's what I've always done. So like being an only child, I sat with my computer and made music, and that's just, the computer has always helped me through life. I've used the computer to enhance my talents, to enhance my knowledge, to enhance